So this is everything that you'll need in order for you to make your own gel. And it looks like a lot, but it's really not a lot once you get used to making it and you just get used to the process. I'm going to start on the left-hand side. This is the blender attachment for my magic bullet. I'm going to use that as the final step to thicken my gel. This is 3 cups of water. And I use a little bit more water because I like to boil the okra for a good long time because there's tons of there's tons of mucilage in okra, and so I like to get it all out, not okra. And then these are my 2 strainers. I usually double strain to get everything out. If I strain with this really fine strainer first, it tends to take up a lot of my gel. So I use the larger strainer and then I go to the smaller strainer to get the smaller things out. And then in the back row, I have vanilla. That's strictly for scent. You do not have to use that. And then I have castor oil and extra virgin olive oil. And then in the next row, I have marshmallow root. I have a tablespoon of marshmallow root, and I have it all sectioned off right here. And then I have a tablespoon of Irish moss. And I wanted to show you the prices on these products when I buy them by the pound, because when I did a class here locally and I showed the people how to make this, some of the people were a little discouraged when they went into the store that I suggested to get their product because they thought it was entirely too pricey. But this packet, including what's inside of my bowl, only cost me 65 cents. So it is very expensive by the pound, but it is so lightweight that it's really not expensive. And the same with the Irish moss. It is $27.80, I'm sorry, by the pound, but I paid, let's say, I believe it was $1.19 for that packet because that's a little heavier. But again, don't be deterred by that price because it is very lightweight. And then I use xanthan gum. I use 1/2 tablespoon of xanthan gum, and that is actually on the higher side because xanthan gum thickens so quickly, especially when you put it in the blender. It really does thicken up. And then I have my container, and over here, this is another thing that is strictly for scent. This is a couple, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of dry clove and some cinnamon. And then this is the okra. This is a 1/2 cup of frozen okra. It's not any particular brand. It is just frozen okra. And then I have a 1/4 cup of oil. I have a mixture of castor oil and extra virgin olive oil, and that I already showed you over here. And that's what that looks like. I'm adding a little bit more oil simply because my hair has been a little bit dry on the top of my head since I've been wearing my top bun, so I'm putting a little bit more oil in it so it's more of a treatment than just a styler. Okay, so let's get started. All of your products should be added to a pot. First your water and then all of your ingredients, with the exception of your oil and your xanthan gum. You put all of your ingredients on the fire and bring it to a boil. Your xanthan gum and your oil mixture are mixed together on their own without putting it in the heat. You're going to use your blender to incorporate this into your gel. And that's where the thickening process will take place. The boiling process is approximately 20 minutes. You know that it's ready when you start to see a really thick boiling action with your gel. When it is clear or see-through, it is not ready. Now it's time for the first strain. This is where you get all of your big chunks of your ingredients out of your gel. Ooh, sorry. And then you go through the second straining period, which is when you get the smaller pieces out. And the smaller pieces are very small, but they do make a difference because they put small things in your hair. And you'll see it at the end of this straining process, what I am referring to. There you go. See them, the little pieces? Now I am starting the blending process. I added my oil and xanthan gum to my gel, and I blend the gel for approximately 2 minutes. And now here are the results. It is still very hot, but I pour it into my container and I allow it to cool. I was able to get 2 8-ounce containers out of 3 cups of water. And that's it. Now it sits on the counter for about 20 minutes and then it goes into the refrigerator for the rest of the evening. Thanks for watching, guys.